Thank you for joining us on Data Cloud Now, where we bring you the latest in all things data in business and industry. Today we are discussing how to improve outcomes in the life sciences space. Now over to our DCN correspondent, Gautam Srinivasan in Delhi, India. Enjoy.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm Gautam Srinivasan and welcome to Data Cloud Now. With me is Amit Jain, co-founder and COO of Ultragenic, which is working to address long-standing challenges in the life science industry by combining its domain expertise with technology to develop solutions. Amit, thank you so much for joining us. And what an exciting space this is, an explosion of data, an explosion of possibilities. But that also brings up the question of, leveraging true value of data, because while we've seen India make its name in the life sciences industry when it comes to, say, vaccine production or generics or biopharma, I want to understand from you the use cases of driving value from data. So give us more details.
First of all, thanks, Gautam, for giving me this opportunity to talk about this. So we are in the space of pharmacovigilance. And pharmacovigilance is about tracking and monitoring of the side effects that come out of the medicines, any medicines, whether it's a vaccine or medicine. So if I take an example of COVID over here, now how does this work? A lot of us heard about the side effects that are coming out after taking the COVID vaccines. Now what is happening to that data that is coming from the side effects that are coming to these pharmaceutical companies? What are they doing out of it? So a lot of this data is used for the advancement of the medicine or the vaccine, and also to manage the risk that are coming out of that medicine. And what we see is that the traditional ways of leveraging this data that is coming, as you're saying, that the explosion that is happening of data. And COVID vaccine is one example, wearables is another example. So first thing is to collect that data, gather that data, and we need to have good warehouses like a Snowflake to be there where you can gather that data, and then run analytics on top of it, that data. So I think we are in a budding stage as an industry where this thing has just started happening, but there is a long way to go.
But that's always the interesting period, right? So take us through some of the challenges that you help customers overcome, whether it's medical, regulatory affairs, or safety, and how you kind of develop solutions for them.
So majorly in safety. So I tell you there are 3-4 pieces of safety. Just to understand. First thing is, as we're talking about the side effects, so first is these side effects are reported from number of sources. So you can get it from the social media, these side effects that somebody has tweeted something that, okay, I took this medicine and this is what happened. All the pharmaceutical companies are mandated to capture all the side effects notified, whether it is through a literature, whether it's through social media, whether it is through a phone call. So variety of sources through which this data comes in. So one is that ingestion of that data that needs to happen. And then there is a whole process actually that happens at a pharmaceutical company where you need to process this data. Medics have to review, do the causality analysis on that whether the side effect has been caused by the medicine or not. So all those causal analysis and all those things happen. So this is a full process. And then you report it to the regulatory agencies or the health authorities. So that is one route. Second route is where you do something called signaling. That is it saying something? Is this data saying something? And there is a whole lot of statistical models that you have to apply on top of that data. So this is the whole chain in a very quick, this thing I have mentioned. So we help in the ingestion. So we have something called Ultra Ingest, which is the ingestion framework. And there are several that unifies all the data that the system can understand, that the system that is gathering this data. And then we automate the pieces where medics, supporting medics to review that particular data. And then at the end, Ultra Analytics, which is built on top of Snowflake, that gives you the analysis and the information, the meaningful insights that you need to draw out of that data.
So you're enabling clients to be more proactive when it comes to safety, using the power of data and
Absolutely.
with partners like Snowflake. And speaking of that, we are at Snowflake's Data Cloud World Tour. You gave us a slice. Now give us a bit more details on how this partnership with Snowflake helps you serve large and small customers.
So let me give you a little background of the pharmaceutical industry, and we have been like little bit lagging in terms of the technology, usage of technology. On R&D side, there is a lot that is happening, but on the data side, there is still a long way to go. And there are traditional systems, the legacy systems that are there, which are RDBMS based systems that are there. and the kind of data volume that is increasing and the kind of analysis that need on top of it, these systems are not capable of meeting that challenge, the RDBMS-based system. And another thing is the challenge that the industry faces is the performance. So they need reports and the insights very quickly. And I give you an example that, okay, there is something that we called a periodic report. It is like it goes into hundreds of pages. And it takes a day, and at times more than a day, to process that report. And now nobody has that kind of a patience and time to gather that kind of a report. And Snowflake has helped us gather both structured and unstructured data, first of all. It's a lake concept. And you can build a lot of data models on top of that. And that's what our USP is, that we have built a data model using our domain experience on top of Snowflake to draw those meaningful insights from there.
Absolutely. Where they say where there are challenges, there are opportunities.
Correct. The performance challenges, the scalability challenges. So if there is a sudden surge in the data that is happening, Snowflake is able to take care of that actually. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the way forward, because you see tremendous opportunities in the pharmacovigilance or drug safety space. So how are you planning to capitalize on this growth opportunity? What are the next steps for you?
So one of the things that we are seeing is something called real world data. And I mentioned in one of the responses, the wearables basically. So a lot of wearables are there, a lot of advancements are happening in devices to treat the patients, like pacemakers are there, and the number of devices that are there. So all these devices are throwing a lot of data actually. And we are still talking about the data that is coming from traditional sources. But these sources, the new sources from which data, and it's an explosion of data that is happening. So one, we would want to capture all of this data that is coming and create solutions that are not just operating on the historic data, but are doing the predictions as well. So the predictive analytics is really the next step in this space, and the sentimental analysis and all that. And we have made a lot of advancement in that using NLP, where the simple queries, the plain English queries can be understood by the system, and then the insights can come. So we're removing this technical layer from between, and the business can directly interact with the system and get what they want.
So lots more exciting things lined up, and hopefully the life sciences industry catches up. As you said, we're lagging, but with all these new developments, it catches up with other sectors. Before we let you go, you've served in both the pharma and tech functions. So from a philosophical standpoint, what do you think about harnessing the power of technology for the greater good?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I noticed, and when we started Ultragenic, there are a lot of repetitive and labor-intensive tasks that the very qualified people are doing, right? A medic is writing a narrative, and that narrative has more repetition than the focus that these professionals need to have in terms of doing the causality analysis. But building a narrative is something that a system can do. And similarly, we identified number of such automations where the manual effort can be removed and people are doing what their job is basically, which is the patient outcomes, focusing on patient outcomes. So we free up their time to focus on patient outcomes. And in that zest, we have created, I told about Ultra Ingest framework, then there is something called Ultra Make that we have, which is a data migration automation. And earlier there was a lot of time that we used to take to migrate data from one system to another system. And this emanates from mergers and acquisitions. A lot of merger and acquisition happen, you have to consolidate the systems and merge the data between the system. We have automated that whole process and literally cut down the time by 60 to 70% that was there earlier. Similarly with Ultra Analytics. So all these tool sets that we have, the automation mindset that we have, I believe that's the technology should aid the human in making the right choices, right decision. At the end, it's a human being's decision. You are not taking a decision, but all the support that technology can provide, it should provide you to take that call.
Absolutely, and you're leaving the bandwidth free for all the players in the ecosystem to do the jobs that they were meant to do in the right way.
Correct, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, that's how Ultragenic is turning innovative ideas into reality to improve outcomes in the life sciences space. Amit, thank you so much for joining us here on Data Cloud Now and speaking with us about your company. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Gautam. Thanks a lot.
All right, and thank you to our viewers as well for tuning in. Stay with us as we bring you more perspectives from the Data Cloud World Tour India series.